I'm sitting there at home totally confused, as I told you, because I don't understand what's going on in the world. And I don't know what's happening around me, and everything is messed up. There is this global war going on between the East and the West, and Islam is the enemy, and there is terrorism and bombings like last week in pagan India. Muslims and Indians are clashing over the whole battle of the civilizations. And I'm talking on the radio and other places explaining the political situation, but I myself don't know the truth of the story of the light. And so as I'm sitting there in confusion at my computer, at my desk, the phone rings. And I look to see who it is, and I pick it up, and it is my sister. It is my sister. And here, now you will understand the truth of the story and the deepness of the beauty. My sister says to me, because I'm not paying attention. I told you I didn't understand anything. I'm hardly paying attention to at all, and I am a weak believer, no better than anybody else. She says to me, tomorrow is the great celebration, Eid al-Akbar. This is like 4 days ago, right? I told you. And I go, oh, okay. I had hardly even paid attention. She says, are you going to pray and worship the Lord? I said, of course, I will bring me and all of mine. And as a sign, I must tell you, a person who comes to bear the truth of the light must indicate certain signs. This is slightly embarrassing, so I'm going to say it. I am 35. It is only at this time when you ponder the truth of the light, then the true wisdom only comes. Because when you are at an age that I have been, where I am now married and have children of my own, and have gotten to the point in my life as all as the popes and preachers and ministers and mystics, I am telling you a story of the truth of the light that can be clear to any rabbi. The greatest of most knowledgeable theologians, if they listen to the story that I'm telling, it answers all of their questions, and it is proved by the very nature that I am telling you, a person who tells and reveals to the earth, to any nation that has never heard the story before, a person who comes has to bear certain signs, and of that is that they have to have a certain age, and as gray is getting into my beard, and as the great followers of Prophet Moses will say, to understand the truth of the whole universe, you gotta have the full belly. And I understand the meaning of those signs, and just so that you understand, it means that you're at a point in your life where you're full, you're not wanting because God has blessed you, but that you have also gone and sought the knowledge of the word of the Lord and understood and read the word, so that when the truth of the true light can be made to you, you are in a state of age as one of the son of Adam, of maturity, meaning in your mid-30s or beyond, so that you can understand the burden of the truth of the light. As I said, I told you before, I didn't understand any of this before 2 or 3 days ago. And I didn't know it was my destiny by the will of Allah to do that which you are magically experiencing right now. My sister says to me, are you coming to the prayer? I said, of course, I'm bringing myself and all of mine. This is the great Eid. I ask her, are you bringing all of yours? She says to me, of the children that are with me, that I take care of, there are only 3, and I will bring them all, so that all of us may pray together. And we said, of course, we're always going to pray together where all of the Muslims gather, because some Muslims, you know, they pray on their own, they pray here or there, but you should always try to go where most of the Muslims go, just as the majority of the Muslims are also praying where? In the holy house in Mecca. But we'll get to the story. And so my sister says, after the Eid celebration, we should get together and eat and share time with the family, because it is the great sign of her, my noble sister, peace and blessings be upon you, in the story of the tale, that she is the one in our family who has always prepared food and kept the family together. And in that there is an important sign for someone to get the truth of the light. But she says, one of my children must go to school, one of my children must go to work. Perhaps after the great prayer, instead of getting together, as is the way of our people, and that the prophet has told us to come together as a family and eat a food of a blessed occasion from the sacrifice, pure food slaughtered in the name of God, she says, perhaps we can meet in the nighttime because our family should be together. And I say, unfortunately, my sister, I cannot meet with you at the nighttime. I have other things to do. Of course, I don't even understand the significance of the moment until I'm able to tell it to you now. And so we go to the prayer. And as I told you, this is a beautiful moment where Muslims all over the world are gathered together. And that at the same time on earth, understand that Muslims coming in their most basic clothing are saying, we are sons of Adam. We have no value except that we believe in the Lord, and to that we have come to your house, the only one in existence that was made by our father Abraham. And they pray there. If they are bearers of the light, can you imagine how bright that light is? And at the same time on the earth, all of the Muslims are bowing down at that same moment, and all of the earth praying towards the holy house in Mecca. And so I go with my family and my children wearing the best of clothing that my noble mother has made. Oh yes, if you've been wondering about this badass skier right here, it is made by the hand of my noble mother, that each member of our family bears a nice sign so that we should know we are from the tribes and together as a family. In this there is glad tidings for my mother of the responsibility of the story that she is maintaining, but still I don't understand the truth. And so I go to the prayer and I see all the Muslims and I listen to the sermon. And in there, the Muslims have decided that they have picked a black man, one of my brothers. So listen to this, O Wazir Ali, who has been mentioned in this story, that I listened to you give the khutbah, and I was very much impressed. And I thought, is this a sign of change? That here in Houston, after a long time, a black man from this place, speaking the English language, was giving the sermon of the Muslims. Now, to say the Muslims were not misguided in Houston, the previous person was also a black man, but not having the English tongue. And as we said, it is fundamental in the story for all the parts to agree that you're hearing the story about how it is that this story I'm telling you with the English tongue is being revealed on the earth for the first time. So every part of my story must indicate everything, both the dark and the light. That the prayer that I go to, that the Muslims have arranged, is an African American from here with the English tongue giving the sermon, and all of us pray together to the Lord. And in that I should have seen a sign of how all this relates, but I still didn't understand. But then something else happens between the Muslims, and you will know this, that after the prayer, each one of the Muslims bearing the light takes another Muslim in their arms and embrace them, holding them. And in that there is a sign. And for that I tell you, Eid Mubarak, brothers and sisters who are Muslims, who are listening to the story. If you're listening to the story of the truth, of the light, you are understanding for the first time what it means to go to Eid and say this is a great celebration, and to embrace one another for the truth of the light. But as I told you, I still didn't understand anything of what I'm telling to you. When I continue to tell this tale, you will think it is more amazing than anything you've ever heard. So, as every people do, we prayed for a few minutes and listened to a few words of the Quran, the great word, and all of this is a miracle in and of itself. But go back to the story and see. I want to explain to you why it is that I am here to tell you this truth like no son of Adam has ever spoken in the English words, so that all of mankind knows from this point on that the truth of the light has been spoken. And Allah, the Lord Most High, who is controller of all of the universe, has planned all things. I am not great, just the moment must be marked. And so I leave the prayer of the Muslims, and my sister tells me before we leave that let's just all go back to my house anyway. Let's spend a few moments with the family, right? I mean, who cares about the kids going to school or one of them going to work? They'll be a little bit late. So we go together, my family in my car. I get to the to my sister's house. And as I said, it is my sister who is the one who brings the family together, and always her house she invites. I have never invited anybody over for anything. I admit I am terrible in the story. Don't follow me. Just listen to the tale, because the reason I am able to tell you this tale is there for you to understand in the whole story of the truth of this light.